Hello friends, this is Coldrun. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. I clicked onto this room to start the next main story quest thinking that it would just put me in the room and then I have to talk to someone once I'm in here, but nope, it started already. So anyway, let's get started. Thancred. Not that I'm complaining, Urianger, but I wasn't expecting to see you quite so soon. Urianger. Nor I thee. In extolling the virtues of Aetheris, I did inadvertently awaken in the Loporrits a desire to avert our beloved star's demise. I mean, they already had a pretty strong desire to avert your beloved star's demise. Oh, no, you're saying that their desire before was to just get you out of there, but now they want to protect it from getting destroyed in the first place. Gotcha. Y'shtola. Kryl tells us you have obtained new knowledge that may aid us in our ongoing efforts. I've news to share regarding our study on the Ethereal Sea, but your findings are certain to be of greater interest, and so I would rather hear them first. To what revelations did Hydaelyn's Elpis flower lead? Holy shit. It led to a barrage of... I also don't know if Kakushu saw that whole, walk through time that Hydaelyn had. I don't think so. I think that's us experience... no, never mind. I think Kakushu did see that, because we saw things going red as she got to see Hydaelyn in... Not Hydaelyn, as she got to see Vana in the past. She got to see through that memory crystal, so when she did the Sundering. So presumably she at least got some glimpse of what Vana went through. Alphinaud. Then this dynamis is what drives the final days. If it and Akasha are one and the same, this all but proves Nadana's theory. Were an entity, through sheer force of emotion, to channel this vast, dormant reservoir into a raging river, its power might surpass even that of ether. And yeah, that's what Meteion's up to. Alze, but if our star is so replete with ether, said entity would need to be outside its influence to effectively manipulate the dynamis of the great expanse. Yeah, but didn't I tell you about Meteion? Graha, Meteion. Or rather, the sorrow and suffering of fallen civilizations that she has been hoarding for millennia. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Because I met Meteion, and I don't blame her. Grahatia. Untold anguish and fear and hatred drawn from every corner of the universe, all for a single purpose, the destruction of Aetheris. Astinian. Then our foe is no longer some unknowable calamity. Yeah, there's got to be some comfort in that. Astinian. We have but one aim, to defeat Meteion. Y'shtola. You make it sound so simple, but you're not wrong. Vanquish Meteion and we deliver the world from the final days, but to even attempt it, there are two conditions. One, we have to find her across the friggin' universe, wherever she's hiding out. Yeah, okay, thank you, Y'shtola. First, we must determine her location. Before Meteion escaped, an enchantment was placed upon her by Vana... That's right, I forgot about that! By Vana, the woman who had become Hydaelyn. The implications of temporal magic are not entirely understood, and so we cannot assume that our Hydaelyn and the Vana you met in Elpis are one and the same. That seems like a pretty good bet. I guess you're just hedging your bets. You're just saying, there's a lot we don't know, but this is probably the case. Nevertheless, due to her intrinsic qualities as an all-powerful being, I'd wager that Hydaelyn possesses the knowledge we seek. Whether she would share that knowledge with us, however, remains to be seen. Why wouldn't she? After all, she intends for us to flee Aetheris, not to stay... Oh. I guess. I don't think she's going to hide the Meteion from you, though. Kryl, do you suppose that she has abandoned her pursuit of Meteion? I think it's all she can do to hold out, to hold it together. I don't think she has the energy to do that. The Vana I know would never give up. Kryl, that's my impression too. Otherwise, she wouldn't have used me as a conduit for her will, or provided clues such as the Elpis flower. Yep, great point. She's been trying to help us. I believe she has been waiting for mankind's answer to Hermes' question. It's weird that we're the representatives of it. We're just some randos. Alphinaud. So what's the second condition? Y'shtola, we must find a means to reach Meteion. Maybe the rabbit moon car will help us get there. Naturally, our chosen method will depend entirely upon wherever she has made her nest. Thancred, then communing with Hydaelyn must by necessity come first. Did you and Master Meteion have any luck with your investigation into the Ethereal Sea? That's right, that's what she started saying she has something to say about. Stola, sadly not. Though we enlisted the help of Arenvald and other Echo-blessed allies, we could not detect so much as a... Arenvald, I'm glad he's around. We could not detect so much as a whisper from Hydaelyn, even from within the Antitower. Master Meteion is of the opinion that in the years since abandoning it, the Forum has found some other method of receiving instructions from Hydaelyn, possibly in Labyrinthos. If so, it would most likely be some form of apparatus for observing the Ethereal Sea built closer to home. Ojika Tsunjika. Sorry to interrupt, but we've just received word from the Forum. Where's Ojika Tsunjika? Is he just knocking on the door? Presumably. Your presence is requested in the rostra, where they intend to discuss the Great Exodus. Alright, nerd pants. Thank you for the message. Aloze. Then Father was able to persuade them. Alphinaud. They're finally taking us seriously. Let's hear what they have to say. Yes, we'll get to make our case anyway. I really don't think it's that tough a case to make. I really don't. Like, we're not stopping them from fleeing. We're just, I don't know, trying to provide a plan A to their plan B. Urianger. 'Twas Hydaelyn's commandment that in the event Zodiac should perish, the Loporrits were to deliver the people of Aetheris from harm. Though that be the limit of their duties, they possess knowledge unparalleled of the great expanse and the means of its traversal. Should they be persuaded to assist in our efforts to reach Meteion, we should do well to heed their counsel. I agree. This is... You and I, same page. Same page, my friend. Before we continue, let me actually get my minion for the day, which I can't. I cannot get my minion for the day. We'll do that after this. Can I not summon a minion here? Yeah, I guess not. Estinian. At first I wasn't sure what to make of Hermes and his motives. But it's like we discussed at the Great Work. When faced with the harsh realities of life, some seek the release of death. Others grow defiant. They fight. Either way, it is our right to choose. That's right. It's weird, but I'm glad he's not judging Hermes for what he's been through. That he's trying to... I mean, he clearly thinks Hermes is wrong because Hermes is wrong. Like, not about... I mean, about the whole, like, wanting everyone to die. Like, that's not the... I don't know. That feels like it's going too far, but, like, he's not judging the despair Hermes went through. He's trying to be understanding of it, and I appreciate that. Aloze. Well, that was a much quicker response than I was expecting. Nice to know our efforts here on the Magna Glacies didn't go unnoticed. Yeah, that probably won you some Sharlayan street cred. Alphinaud. Father has granted us the opportunity we've been waiting for. Though we know not what information, if any, they intend to reveal, there's only one way to find out. To the rostra. Tataru. I hope you don't mind me staying behind while you attend your big meeting. The rostra reminds me a bit too much of the supremely scary tribunal in Ishgard. You'll forgive me if I keep my distance. They do have some of the same sort of, I don't know, strictness, formality. A sense that if you sneeze on the wrong person, you could be executed for war crimes or something, like under some arcane law. Kryl. After you left for Garlemald, I went to Labyrinthos and tried to reach Hydaelyn using the Elpis flowers. Alas, my attempts were in vain. I can only assume she spent a vast amount of her power in the confrontation with Vandaniel, and is presently unable to communicate. Indeed, as her presence left my body, I could feel how faint it had grown. Yeah, she was pretty fucked up by the end of that, like, amazing... I can't get over that cutscene. It just keeps coming back to my head, the moment where she was, like... where you see her walking through the eras, walking through the ages, like, slowly getting more and more... it's probably nauseating to watch me do Lapser and Kryl. Watching her get more and more, like, gloopy and wounded. Now, I watched some reactions to that just because I love watching reactions of people doing this stuff. It's a way to re-experience, it's just all kinds of reasons. And someone brought up, in the comments of that reaction, brought up something really interesting. She took blows at some point. Like, she got, like, she was walking through and wounded, and then she got, like, boom, she got hit by something. Walked a little bit more, boom, hit by something else. The person in the comments suggested it might be, like, the rejoinings. That might have been the game trying to show the impact the rejoinings had on her. I wonder about that. That could be. That was a really cool theory. I'll say, usually I don't read the comments in those because, I don't know, even if they're well moderated, sometimes people can be a bit spoilery, but I think that was cool. Ishtola. Master Meteion has suspected for some time that the Forum has been constructing a new facility for the purpose of surveying the ethereal sea. Of course, as the custodian of the Anti-Tower, which would presumably be rendered obsolete as a result, she has a few things to say about that. Nothing that should be repeated in polite company, you understand. Yeah, poor Meteion. She's getting tossed out like yesterday's something. Yesterday's bathwater? I don't know. Thancred. After sending Graha and Nestinian back to Garlemald, I stayed in Locus Amenus for a time. Being an imperial province, it was already in turmoil before the onset of the final days. You wouldn't believe the difficulties we had overseeing the evacuation of the villages we visited. I have faith in that the detachment we left behind will continue our work and shepherd the people to safety. To what safety can be found in a world coming to an end anyway. By the way, thank you to Azul Magia and Rack, and just for giving me the heads up about what was about Thancred's past, because I did remember that he was like a street urchin. I had forgotten that only after he was being street urchin-y and doing street urchin things that he was picked up by Louis Soix. That sounds creepy. No, like he was taken under Louis Soix's wing. Yeah, and I'd also forgotten that I knew he was a rogue. I don't think I knew at all that he was that he considered himself a bard, so that definitely explains some of the last quest. The riddle quest. Graha. To think the Crystal Tower of the First is capable of such feats as sending one's soul into the distant past. I mean, why are you surprised by that? It literally did that for you. The events you witnessed and helped shape may yet hold the key to forestalling the final days. I'm reminded of dear friends in the future I unmade, whose selfless efforts saw the 8th Umbral calamity averted. In this timeline, at least. Too much has been sacrificed for us to abandon Aetheris now. Agreed. Let's go save the world. Alright, now it's minion summoning time. Wind up Sylph. We got the Amal Jaw last time, and now we got this weirdo cabbage in a diaper. It's really like a Teletubby, isn't it? The way its face is framed, and it's just, what a strange design. I like the pixies much more. Wind up Sylph. If he could speak, it would be in the third person. That's right, I forgot about that. Unlike most species in which the female bears the offspring, only Sylph males are capable of reproduction. The Sylphs are living in the Omegaverse, and they do so via the single flower found upon their head. After the flower is fertilized by an alpha, it will eventually fall off, giving rise to a child known as a podling. Alright, Path Companion. Helping Sylphs with their problems is a jolly fine way to make friends. I don't know who Path Companion is. I don't remember that part of the Sylph storyline. The Sylph storyline wasn't my favorite. It was fine, but it wasn't... I don't know. I didn't like it as much as some of the other ones. None of them are offensive or anything. It's just some of them are blander than others. Rostra Steward. The forum is in session, and as such, the rostra is closed to visitors. I am not a visitor. I am an invited lecturer. I am a guest lecturer. Scion of the Seventh Dawn. Very well, you may wait in the corridor. Of course, entry will only be permitted on the condition you leave your armaments at the door. Lest you forget, this sacred institution holds rational discourse in the highest. The implements of war... Oh, that's a semicolon there. The implements of war are expressly forbidden. No, I'm not going to do that. In fact, I'm going to unsheath them. Show them who's boss. There's our friend, whose name I don't remember, but he's our friend.
There is a matter I wish to raise with you before we enter.
Oh?
We are here to listen and to learn. But if the Forum's plans are more or less what I expect, then I should like to make a proposal that will serve our ends.
Okay.
By your leave, of course.
I don't see why not. Your words and wits have gotten us this far.
And she's not being sarcastic.
Agreed. I will present our queries so that you may consider the most advantageous way to advance your proposal without distraction.
I like that. I'm thinking back to when Alphinaud first went to Garlemald, when he first went alongside the tall guy with the Latin name after the death of Fandaniel. Not Fandaniel, after the death of Asahi. And he said something along the line, I'm just paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact quote, like something along the lines of, I'm basically just a distraction on the battlefield, but where the place where I can really have an impact is here, where I can, it's something like broker ties and change minds and win hearts and that sort of thing. And I like that they're letting him, like, this is, if he has any time to shine, it's here. And they're letting him do that.
Thank you, everyone.
Like, this is something they've been building in him for a while.
The ad hoc session will now commence. The purpose of today's assembly is to brief the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, at their request, on the Great Exodus. You may enter.
We must look all ragtag with everyone coming in with their... Everyone here has the same uniform on, same... I don't know, the same style of dress. I'll bet he's proud. I'll bet he's proud. I'm sure he is.
On behalf of the Forum, I commend your heroic actions on the Magna Glaciers. We shall not soon forget your service to us and the people of Radzat-Han. The Satrap, whom we have informed of the refugees' new arrangements, sings your praises as well.
I guess you'd call that a dragon song?
As an expression of our gratitude, we will endeavor to answer your questions as fully and openly as we are able.
Then let us begin. First, it is the Forum's objective to ferry the life and knowledge of this star to the moon. Am I correct?
Meanwhile, she's here in, like, cat ears. It cracks me up that that's part of her, like, regular attire in this game.
You are. It is for this purpose that Sharlayan has labored these many long years. We have collected biological samples and scientific records from across the star. When the time comes, they will be moved from their places in Labyrinthos and Numenon and conveyed to safety. Once that critical task has been accomplished, we will begin transporting the Sharlayan citizenry, which has been categorized into groups. The earliest arrivals are to ensure hospitable environs for those who come after.
Those who walk before.
Following our people, we will send those of other nations in turn, beginning with our allies. Radzat-Han was foremost among these, but since the final days have already come to Thavnair, we saw fit to include the refugees with earlier groupings.
An ambitious plan. You have accounted for the safety of all nations and tribes, then?
I don't know how they can.
As many as we can.
Yeah, there's ... not just as many as we can, but ... as many as we can.
And how, pray tell, do you decide who to leave behind?
It's a fair question. I also don't blame them for not having a great answer, because no answer they have is going to be perfect. I don't blame them. How do you move a whole planet?
To journey beyond the sky is an unprecedented and immeasurably difficult endeavor. Introducing sources of inevitable conflict would condemn all to certain death.
Wait, are you not bringing, like, are you only bringing allies? Are you only bringing those on Team Sharlayan? Like, not the tribes?
Questions as to the validity of that approach aside, are your plans proceeding apace? We're under the impression that your primary means of celestial transportation is incomplete.
If only in that it does not meet our optimal parameters, that is correct.
So it's still in pretty good shape.
This Ark, as some have taken to calling it, is fully operational and could be launched even today. However, the final days have progressed more quickly than we anticipated. At present, the ship is incapable of attaining speeds sufficient to meet our evacuation targets.
So it doesn't work then. Or maybe it works and it just won't let enough people
Should we
leave.
put the vessel into service, as it is now,
Okay,
we will be
gotcha.
unable to travel to the moon and back quickly enough to complete the necessary number of trips. Precious lives and knowledge will be lost.
It really is a bad news bears that the Tower of Babel is overrun, because that could have been so much better.
Seven hells. Is there anything to be done?
I mean, you have the Loporits here now, perfect
The ether
engineers.
burner, the primary means of propulsion once the craft is in the space between stars, is undergoing testing to determine whether it can be made more efficient. Though cargo is being loaded for the initial phase of the Exodus, we are prepared to continue our experimentation up to the day before launch, should it prove necessary.
What if the Scions were to solve your problem?
What? How? The dolly zoom.
We shall help devise a means to improve the ether burner's efficiency, on 2 conditions.
You're setting conditions to save the world? That's weird.
If we succeed, you must allow us to meet with Hydaelyn.
I guess they're not, it's not like, I get the sense that if he said no, we can't do this, like we can't meet your conditions, I think that Alphinaud would still help.
'Twas simple enough to deduce. You have a Concord, and so you would never have abandoned the anti-tower had you no other means of communication.
Oh, right, everyone doesn't know that we already sussed out that they have another route to Hydaelyn. Gotcha. That's why they're shocked.
One far more convenient, I suspect.
Oops, I didn't. Did I skip something? I didn't mean to.
The second condition, also to be met upon our success,
No, I
is
didn't.
that we be permitted to propose another use for your Ark.
Ah, okay, yep. So this is how we're going to... I thought we were going to use the Moon Bunny vessel, but no. We're going to try to use the Ark for this.
We would be at liberty to refuse this proposal.
Of course. If we cannot prove its merit to the 99 here, who are we to stake on it the lives of all peoples of this star?
Oh, look at that smile.
Delightful as always, Master Alphinaud.
Montichaigne. Fourchenault hates this guy. He seems so annoyed.
Oh, we couldn't have asked for a finer plan. Allow us to solve this complex engineering problem of which we were entirely unaware until moments ago. What could possibly go wrong? The satire writes itself.
Yeah, it is a pretty bold move for him to even think that we can solve this when like all of Sharlayan's been at work. I guess we have Sid. Sid can help.
Yet, what field has not benefited from a change in perspective? When we are at wit's end, what we need is not the same dry theories recited ad nauseam, but fresh inspiration.
I like this voice actor a lot for Montichaigne.
I, for one, have faith in my erstwhile students to provide it, and I find their terms to be perfectly acceptable.
Order! Order! We have no time to waste on debate. I call a vote.
That's totally fair. There's really no time.
All in favor of agreeing to the Scion's terms?
It's got to be, like, near unanimous, right? There's so little to lose. I expect, like, 80 to 19 or something. Maybe more. But I don't think they need a specific count. I think it's if it's obvious, they're going to go with yes.
In favor, 28 against. The ayes have it.
Okay, so more objections than I expected, but still pretty overwhelming.
Fourchenault, as the architect of this project, you are the best candidate to show them its current state. And bear in mind that regardless of your personal misgivings, this is the will of the Forum.
You just got told! I know you're a dad, but now you're the son. Oh my god, you just got told so hard there, Fourchenault. Look at his face, he knows he got told.
Very well.
I call this session to a close. Return to your tasks with urgency.
It wouldn't be
Final
diplomatic.
days, wait for none.
It wouldn't be diplomatic, but I would appreciate if Alphinaud would just yell, like, get wrecked. Like, just in the forum, just as a punctuation mark on that brilliant display of diplomacy and tact. Okay. Now we need a job at the appropriate level. Okay. Alphinaud. Sorry about not letting the rest of you in on my plan. I was admittedly thinking on my feet for the most part. But since we require both a means of communing with Hydaelyn and reaching Meteion, in the spur of the moment I saw involving ourselves with the completion of the Ark as a way to work towards both objectives simultaneously. However, we must first keep our end of the bargain by solving the problem of the ether burner. I'd like to think it's not a challenge beyond our combined expertise, or at least the expertise of our extended circle of associates. Yeah, I have to imagine Sid's going to get involved in this. It might behoove us to learn how an ether burner actually works before we attempt to improve it, though. Yes, that is step one. Agreed. Okay, Thancred. My affinity for espionage may have earned me the title of Archon, but is that what earned him the title of Archon? I'm so used to thinking that... I know, it's basically like taking a doctoral exam to become the Archon, right? Or like earning a PhD, something like that. How did infiltration get him that? Interesting. I was completely unaware of the Forum's plans. There may have been clues here and there, had I been of a mind to look for them, but contemplating that possibility only serves to further wound my pride. Not that anyone would have realistically surmised that their brilliant stratagem was to build a giant ship, fly to the moon, a still larger vessel in truth, and use that travel to travel to another star. Even now, the whole idea seems positively absurd when spoken aloud. Yeah, and I remember your reaction to the Loporrit, so you are one to be taken aback. Urianger. Of late, I have seen no sign of the Loporrits. This being their first opportunity to experience the wonders of Sharlayan, the potential for misadventure is nigh infinite. All kinds of hijinks going on right now. Estinian. Perhaps if Midgard-Sormer were still alive, in the traditional sense that is, he could have offered to help the vessel attain the necessary speeds. Then again, there's no guarantee his contribution would make enough of a difference to matter. He's like a god more powerful than many that we've ever seen, so I'll bet he could have helped. Graha. He was Bahamut's dad, right? And he was also, we never even saw him at his full power. We just glimpsed it in that Omega Alphascape fight. The further we pursue the mysteries of the universe, the more I struggle to comprehend the fortuitous nature of time itself. We measure it and mark it based on observations of celestial bodies such as the sun and moon. But from your account, it is unclear whether the ancients viewed time in a similar manner. I mention this because while Vana knew the final days would reoccur at a defined point in the future, she presumably had no way of knowing exactly when. Even so, the completion of the Forum's preparations to escape to the moon, aligning so closely with the advent of the final days, is surely no coincidence. I just assumed it was like one of those video game things that we weren't supposed to think about, but I don't know. Ishtola. I'm a little vexed that we've yet to learn of the Forum's replacement for the Anti-Tower, though I expect that in time they'll share that with us too. And with Master Meteion, if they've any sense. Yeah, why would you not use her? She's like what my Destiny 2 friends might call a witch queen. Kryl. Phew. I'll admit, bringing up the issue of the Forum's incomplete arc was more than a little daunting. They were, to their credit, quite open about the current state of affairs. What was even more surprising, though, was when they took Alphinaud up on his offer. Really, they had nothing to lose from it, really. Alize. While I very much take issue with the Forum's approach to selecting whom to save and when, they're not wrong for wanting to minimize potential conflicts. Yeah, I guess it really depends on what they mean. Like, if they're just saying, like, everyone who's been our friend is going on the boat, that's one thing. But I doubt that's what they're doing. Fortunately, if this plan of ours actually works, the Great Exodus will become entirely unnecessary. I don't know if that's going to happen. Alphinaud. As Father seems eager to help, maybe we can have him educate us about the ether burner. Yeah, eager to help. That's not the face of someone who is pumped to be helping out. Going underground. Fourchenault's ability to maintain a stiff upper lip is being sorely tested. Fourchenault, as instructed, I shall take you to see the ether burner. Meet me outside the Archaon. I trust you can make your very own way there. Alphinaud. So the Ark is being built in Labyrinthos. Hardly surprising. Where else could they conceal such a massive undertaking? Yeah, it is not surprising. We are here at the Archaon. Estinian. I don't understand the appeal of reshaping it to look like the world above. Make your peace with what it is, or go outside if that's what you prefer. We quested here. You don't remember why they did this? It's like a testing ground. It's like a laboratory. Ishtola. Or Iriange, I guess. Among the many and varied documents sent to the moon, I did chance upon several inventories made in the Archaon. Mayhap the Forum believed such records would provide insight into the intricacies of clerical duties. Regardless, the Loporits did not consider them more worthy of more than a cursory glance. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it would be much interesting to them. Ishtola. That we have been granted permission to enter the lower levels is proof of our increased standing. Would that they had been willing to confide in us sooner. It's okay, the higher level enemies would have killed us if we had gone there sooner anyway. Graha. It has been many moons since I last visited Labyrinthos. As vast as the archives were back then, they've only continued to grow in the days since. Ali. It seems so long ago we first set foot here. It really does. It's been probably months. Thancred. Some would surely object to the Forum allowing foreign elements to have run of their secret facilities. We should count ourselves lucky. And Kryl. Do they intend to carry everything in the Archaon to the moon? They said they'd started loading scientific records and biological samples, but do they really need all of it? I mean, yeah, they're playing like Noah's Ark, basically. Fourchenault. Our destination lies in the lower levels. The Forum, in its wisdom, has granted you access to the Archaon's lift. Step inside and have Ophiline take you to the medial circuit. Losers. Okay. Ophiline, you wish to use the lift, yes? Yes, and it would have made questing down there so much easier if I'd been allowed to use it earlier. It was such a pain in the butt earlier to, like, have to go through that friggin' cave system every time I wanted to go back and forth. Ooh. Mitt Mergen. Oh, I'm well aware there are more important things than research right now, but I feel it's paramount. I carry on as normal. Stiff upper lip. Fourchenault. I have sent your associates ahead to Logisticon Alpha, on the other side of Mariel Agronomics. Actually, there is something I've been meaning to... What do you got? No, never mind, it can wait. Let us attend to the matter at hand. That was going to be something about Alphinaud. It was going to be like, how's Alphinaud doing? Does he have a lover? Is he happy? Like, that sort of stuff. But no. No, the lip has to remain super stiff. And upper. The lip has to remain stiff and upper both. We are here at Logisticon Alpha. This is, it looks like the entrance to the next section of this zone of Labyrinthos. But I'm out of time for today. Thank you for watching. Next time we will continue on with the main story quest here or any side quest that might open up. See you later. Bye-bye.